Okay, so we're going to be talking about Manchester football and how Jack Kay's role has changed since he's a freshman to a senior, what it means for him to be a leader on the team, and how he supports his teammates both on and off the field. So we're going to answer some of those questions. And so, yeah, here we go. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jack Kay. I played football at Manchester University. I'm a senior, and this year I was a captain on the football team.
Okay, so how has your role changed from how you had to act on the team as a freshman versus now as a senior?
I'd say moving into my junior and senior, I definitely had more of a leadership role, whereas freshman year, I knew I wasn't really going to get much playing time. So I was more of like the support guy during the games on the sidelines, trying to keep the sidelines up and showing a lot of emotion and support from the sidelines more so than on the field. Whereas later in my career, obviously, I started kind of being taking that role from the sidelines and transferring it onto the field in more of a leadership role.
Okay, so how do you think being a captain has affected your role as a teammate? Because, a captain commands more respect from his teammates, and you kind of have to tell people what to do sometimes. And it can sometimes be awkward to tell a close friend when he's messing up on the field. So how did you deal with that? And just tell me about
Right. I'd say a lot of the way that I handled it was in my preparation. So if I had to tell someone they were doing something wrong on the field wise, it wasn't like I was making those same mistakes. So I had to prepare a lot more. So a lot more meetings with the coaches and more film, stuff like that. But then being a captain as a whole, affecting what my role was, I think is I'd say practicing what you preach more so. You can't be telling everyone they need to be doing this, and this, and then you're not doing it yourself. So I think more so than probably what I did my freshman and sophomore year, I had to start practicing what I preached to everyone else.
And how do you think your freshman and sophomore year prepared you to do that?
One way, when I was here, freshman and sophomore year, there was couple good captains that we could look up to. And I saw the goods and the bads. I saw the captains that we had. They would say one thing, and then I'd see them do the exact opposite. Maybe when they didn't know other people were watching, or they just weren't around the coaches, so they were doing the wrong thing. But then I was also under guys that did practice what they preached, and that was really cool to see that they would say one thing and then put it to use, whether it was on the field, in the classroom, in their social lives, whatever.
Okay. And what does it mean to you to be a leader?
I don't know. I'd say the biggest thing that it means to me is I like being looked up to in a way that other kids on the team can confide in me with their problems or things they need to work on or things they need help on. If they ask for what they're doing wrong, they can take constructive criticism because, like I mentioned earlier, with those captains that we had that were good ones that I was under, that's what I did, and that's what they did for me. So I think being a captain, more so than just your athletic ability on the field, means more that kids can trust in you and go to you with their problems and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I think you were starting to touch on it, but specifically, how do you support your teammates on the field? What kind of actions do you do? And then what kind of things do you do off the field?
On the field, a lot of it for me is I don't think it's my place necessarily to yell and scream at kids and be real critical on them. I think that's what the coaches are there to do, and I think they do a good job of that. So my big thing on the field is just positive reinforcement. There's guys there's juniors and seniors that will be having bad practices that know the defense like the back of their hand. They'll just be forgetting everything, and it's not my job. I feel like it's the coach's job to yell at them, but my job to tell them to keep their head up and just positively reinforce them so they're not just getting all criticism, they're getting some support too. I think that's my biggest attribute on the field wise.
Okay, and off the field, how do you show your support?
Well, anytime, another thing, people talk about Manchester, but my big thing is knowing everyone's name. Like I said, just saying, hey, buddy, or hey, what's up? Guys come up to me and they say, hey, Jack, and then I know their name, and then they know that I'm an accounting major, so I'll get a lot of questions over certain types of business homework. So then I'll sit down with a kid and help him with his homework or help him with something that he can't figure out. And that's not something that I have to do or that's required of me, but it's something that I like to do and that those kids don't expect it, but when they ask me for help, like obviously they're not wanting to get shut down or whatever. So
Right.
then so then I'll sit down and help them.
Cool. Okay, and we're gonna end it on more like fun note. So, what's your all-time 4-year Manchester favorite memory?
Oh shoot, I don't know. This was a crazy year. I'd say it's either Alma with a big win against Coach Henson's former team, or this year against Bluffton, probably when defense stood tall in the fourth quarter and we won a game against Bluffton, which we haven't done in a long time, and that kind of sparked us for our win streak to round out the season, to have a winning season. So I'd say that was probably my favorite memory, was the Bluffton game.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, that's it.